Okay, apologies for that, everyone. Again, YouTube kicked me off the live and wouldn't reconnect. So hopefully it was a one-time thing. It doesn't happen again. It can't be one of these days where you constantly get disconnection, because it's going to be very annoying. But if it is, what can we do, right? What can we do? Just going to wait for everyone to kind of come back in. Do apologize again. Hopefully everyone finds the stream. I'm sure they will. I see a few people trickling in now on the view. There we go. All right, cool. Welcome back, everybody. Do apologize. So let's have a look. Luckily, nothing's really happened. So didn't really miss anything apart from, again, these sellers coming in very strong. But now notice how all the buyers are at the top. You see that distribution change very quickly. For a few minutes, we had sellers at the bottom and we were going up, and then the distribution very quickly changed. This is the danger of a market like this. So dangerous. But naturally, we're going to expect a lot of buyers to have their stops at the bottom here, right? So potentially also at the bottom of that. Once we break that low or get near it, we should see a big spike in sell orders in and around this area. But you see buyers trying to defend, right, the lows. If buyers get stopped out, and there's an interesting saying, I can't remember who said it, but someone said it, some trader once. They said, I can't remember how it goes now, but something like institutions place their orders where you would set your stops. So always good to know when someone's getting out the market and see if because there's usually new interest around those areas, All right, we're getting close to it. We're about to potentially stop out a bunch of buyers if they're not already out the market. Didn't get as big of a jump as I expected, but that's a lot of new sell pressure, big buy pressure coming in. Maybe below this low here, that's where the stops are, who knows? But look at these buyers coming in heavy. If those buyers fail, we just want to see who's actually succeeding here. So I got my finger on potentially buying if those buyers can prop it up, because we've got sellers at the bottom. But we're so close to that low as well, and I know there's going to be a lot of stops. But buyers are coming in, but they're not really doing much. So I'm not ready to enter yet. There it is. There's their stops getting hit. There it is. We saw that spike. So their stops. All right. A lot of buyers who at the open, they're out the market now. So now we're looking for fresh volume to come into the market, right? So we're going to keep an eye on the figures. You can see that was a lot of fresh sellers right there, right? Lots and lots of fresh selling. This is potentially some kind of stop loss as well. Lots of sellers getting out the market as well on a little pullback. Oh, that could be not a bad potential buy here because sellers are out. All right, we're going to go in for a quick buy because sellers have exited. Let's see if we can get a V-shaped reversal. That's usually a very good sign for a V-shaped reversal. Happened very quick. Let me just get rid of this drawing. I got in a little bit late, but it's fine. It happens so quick. But I got my finger on exit just in case these sellers want to come back in. But we want to basically stop out all those sellers and clear them out. But we know for a fact a lot of sellers potentially got out on the quick, got trailed out there, or a lot of fresh buyers as well came in. I think it's an element of both. So we want to get above those sellers. I don't want to get too much of a retracement going because this is a dangerous market. Like I said, very scalpy. I'm not going to try hold it too much. If it doesn't extend much, I'm getting out. I'm seeing sellers come in. Come on, get above them. Come on. We can do this. Don't really want to go much lower to where all those sellers were, but it's good that they're dropping their numbers. We're back to positive 69, positive 15. So they are absorbing, but we don't want to see sellers reload. Minus 50, they are reloading. Back down to 21. They're starting to clear that level. I think I might have to get out here. I don't think it's going to be a full-scale V-shaped reversal, unfortunately. Sellers are buy, because a lot of this buy volume is not true buyers. Do you see what I mean? These were, in my opinion, a lot of sellers potentially trailed out. But like I said, it's going to be super quick scalps on this market. But now we got fresh buyers coming in. Let me just get rid of these black lines because they're not really needed. And these are fresh sellers as well. So the battle is here where we currently are. I could jump in for another buy in a second if I see any good progress. 230. Still very... Buyers are struggling. Less struggling. They're not really getting it up, are they? But the battle is here. So whoever wins this battle, I'm going to jump into their direction. It looks like sellers might take it. Look, we've really gone... Oh, big absorption there. Bang. Another big amount of sellers. Sellers are struggling as well, but they just might have it here. Still anyone's game. Nah, it looks like sellers might take it. Oh, it's still not any. Oh, that was a big chunk. I'm going in. You see how quick that moved? That's why I jumped in. How instantly there was a shit ton of sellers here trapped, and then we had this instant move up. That's usually a big buyer came in and wiped them out. So that buyer is going to get wiped out if we go much lower than where they entered. I mean, it's hard to know exactly where they're willing to exit, but they should hold the line because they put in a lot of volume there quickly. So in terms of your stop, I mean, realistically speaking, if you want to be super secure, you've got to have your stop below the low, right? Because you know that's where that buyer is definitely getting out, because they may allow it to drift into drawdown a bit, you know, and hold their position and add. This is the, but I saw a big chunk of buyers just come in very quick and move that market up. So let's see if they can break this area here, because this is where all the sellers were. If we get above there, we've got a good trade again, and I think we can have a good movement up, like a genuinely good movement. But I'm not going to take profit just yet. I want to see what these buyers are doing. 400. We want them to hold a line. These are real buyers, right? These are real people. We need them to hold the line. Obviously, above this high, you might get a few of those sellers that came in earlier here, potentially getting out. Come on, pop up above. Pop. Give me a pop. Any second now. 2, 1. Boom. There it is. Beautiful. Okay, so we know a lot of the sellers got squeezed. These sellers are pretty much out the market, but doesn't mean sellers won't come back in. You know, sellers aren't freaking stop. Is my internet okay? I saw a little disconnect. Let me know if I'm still live in the chat. Am I live? Oh, whew. Good. Thank you, Peter. I thought, because for a second there, it kind of stopped my charts. They didn't load for a second. So I thought, the internet disconnected. Let me turn off my heater. Maybe the heat or something is causing a few problems. I doubt it, but you never know. Look at that. The sellers are really, I mean, it comes down to here as well. You know, we don't want these sellers getting much progress. We really want to hold the line here. But if they struggle, I want to see buyers come in and keep this market propped up. There's a bit of buy pressure. Keep them propped up. Don't. I really, I mean, it's these people here. I know it doesn't look like much right now, but at the time there was a bunch of sellers there, lots of sellers, and then instantly we had that kind of quick jump with a lot of buy pressure. So I'm hoping those buyers have enough oomph to kind of get this market up, but I'm not liking what I'm seeing here with all this buy pressure, and they're still not getting it up. We had a little bit of good movement, but it's starting to look a little bit it's It's not the end of the... my charts are frozen. No, the internet. Stop. Again, I don't know if I'm live. If I'm live, let me know. I'm frozen. Back on. Oh, whew. We're okay. We're okay. Live. Oh, thank you. I was getting worried there. Yeah, there's something definitely going on with YouTube today. It's not... I don't know why. It has these days where YouTube just keeps going on and off, and it kicks me off constantly. I haven't done anything different. I don't know. Maybe get rid of financial juice. Yeah, all right. Let me close down financial juice. I'm not liking what I'm seeing here, by the way. These buyers who came in here, they're still in the market, but I don't like the volume distribution. I mean, just look at the volume distribution here. I think if buyers don't come in quickly, we're kind of screwed here. I don't think it's going to happen. The only reason I'm holding is I'm waiting for those buyers to potentially they're out the market there. It's hard to know, but realistically speaking, I think their stops are down here. If their stops are where my stops are. Okay, they're coming back in. They're trying to defend. Nah, they're failing, these buyers. It was close. It was close. I'll give them. I'll just make it for the spread a little bit bigger. But what I would love to see is that fresh buy pressure come in, get above the majority of sellers, and I'll add more. Because I don't think it's over yet. Because there's a lot of sell volume coming in, but it's like a slow grind down. So there is that possibility, but I could. There is a part of me that wants to jump in again because I think the buyer's still in the market. And they're coming in. I think he's just wanted a better price. They're starting to fail every time. They're getting absorbed. That volume distribution is disgusting right now. I really, really need to get above most of the sellers, but it can switch so quickly in this market. So let's see how the buyers fare up. If they do quite well, I might actually jump in again. Because it's not a bad risk reward. Oh, look at that. 600 back down to 4. They're not doing it. They're just failing. I don't think this is... I don't know if this is going to happen anymore. These buyers have put a lot of volume there and they just can't... Look, 1,500 contracts. They didn't do anything. I think, unfortunately, unless they come in even stronger, I think we're going to have a bit of an issue here. But I got my stop where it realistically should be. We literally touched a low. They still haven't got out the market, in my opinion. The only good sign is that there's a few sellers at the bottom here who are potentially trapped, but think about the amount of buy volume that's currently trapped. We need to break through and squeeze out. There's a bit of... That's a bit better. There we go. That looks a bit better now. I'm starting to like this a little bit more. Internet issue again, frozen. Live but heard robotic voice. Do you think we can hit 6,500 again, which is relatively where we were before Trump news? Absolutely, Andy. I think it can happen. But at this moment in time, it's too hard to know because a lot of people think the market's going to go up because things are de-escalating. Other people think, well, it could escalate again. So it's very kind of choppy. It's anyone's call long term right now because it's so fundamentally driven. This is the problem. It's all to do with the war, and until more information and more kind of news comes out from that, we're not really going to get much much of an answer. So at this, like in terms of long term of where the price could go, is very difficult to call. Wow, look at those sellers come in, but that's a really good sign because they fail to. We want to get above those sellers quickly. Get above them. I'll add another contract if we get above them. Get above them quick. I'll add. Come on, because that's a good sign. It's a lot of volume. A lot of volume. Okay, this is starting to look a bit better. I mean, realistically speaking, we don't want to go much lower than that 758 or that candle there. So our stops can start being pushed up a little bit, but I'm going to keep it where it is. I'm still not ready to jump in again because I'm seeing, yeah, it was just a little bit, almost had it. They were almost trapped, those sellers, but they're coming in extremely aggressive. Again, buyers need to bring in that same energy, really put in a lot of volume. They did put in some decent volume near the lows, but they're not willing to buy higher up. Here, they're quite happy to buy. Sellers are more willing to sell. That's nice. Let's get above that. Come on, we can jump in. It's not doing it. Not doing it yet. Because I want to actually add a bit of volume because I've only stuck to one contract. I need to add volume. Come on. Show me something. All right, I'm going to add. Why not? Let's add. Let's see if these buyers here can hold the line now. So I'm in two positions now. My stop is where really the only place it can be. It's a bit bigger than I initially wanted, but I think we might be able to push through here. Come on, buyers, keep adding. Let's squeeze those sellers out because we're starting to get above a lot of the sell volume, right? It's majorly, I mean, we need to get above there, right? That's the ultimate spot because there's still a lot of big sellers there that made that initial move down. They're probably still in the market. We've had buyers come in, fresh buyers. They're trying to push it up. They're starting to buy a bit higher up, which is good. Sellers now, these sellers in this area here are potentially trapped. We don't want to release them, so we don't want to get lower than that. There it is. Good. That's a lot of buy volume. That's it. Right, now let's really break above that high there. Let's stop them all out. Come on. There's definitely some sellers getting the hell out. I like how quick it moved, though, because that speed is going to spook a lot of sellers from potentially trying to enter again. But it has slowed down near the high, which isn't great. Come on, or else I'm going to have to get out. I don't want another rotation down. They just about failed. So close. Come on. Keep adding. You've got this, buyers. Keep adding. 660, 680, 650. Look at these sellers. They've come back in. They're still not ready to say no. We might just do another rotation potentially here. Well, that might be it. I want to see buyers hold the line. You know, these buyers as well. I want them holding it. I mean, ultimately, it's these guys that started it, right? But I don't like this. I don't like the fact again that we got all this buy volume below now. It looks very rotational at this moment in time. You know, we're just not able to break through those highs. We got so close. Alexis, greetings, Sam. Joined late today watching from my SOC office. No problem. Glad you can make it, Alexis. Glad you can make it. Oh, what happened here? I like what I'm seeing here. Good, good. Got a bit of buyers coming in. I mean, the volume is very kind of flat, but we don't want to see more sellers. Come on, sellers, give up. Or just absorb them. One or the other. Either sellers give up or buyers just out. There it is. Like they're just overly aggressive and just beat them. That's what you want to see. You want to see buyers just wipe out any big sell volume. Don't allow it to gain traction, you know? Come on. Again, sellers coming in at the highs. Let's wipe them out. Let's get that from negative 200 to positive something, you know? Just wipe it out. One nice move, just wipe it out. That's what we need to see. Back down to 85. It's a more gradual kind of wiping it out, but it's dropping. There it is. Big chunk of buyers coming in. Good. But we need to see sellers are still selling against it though. But I think they're about to pop. I think, oh, that is a lot of freaking volume. Why are they still here? Give up already. There it is, about to pop. There's the pop. There's all the sellers out the market. Look at that big spike. And now it can boom, you know, move a little bit. But because it is a very kind of choppy market, I am prepared to get the hell out because this could just be a little. Sellers might want to come back in near that point of control. I see that blue line. But it's good that we stopped them all out. So I'm going to keep my finger on the exit just in case. Look at all those sellers getting out the market. But there are fresh sellers coming in because the numbers are dropping, which is not great. But let's see if we can get all the way to that high. If not, if it's struggling too much, I'm just getting out. Because again, I don't want to hold this market too much. As much as I'd love to kind of try and hold it for extensions, this is too choppy, this market. Look at that. Sellers still willing to transact. They're just not giving up. I'm taking it. They're just not giving up, these damn sellers. It is what it is. But again, you know, the moment we squeezed them out, we had a bit more movement, but they're still willing to jump in. And that's the danger of today's market and yesterday's market. They don't give up. Do you know what I mean? Buyers aren't giving up. Sellers aren't giving up. It's too it's too choppy, you know? How you trade yesterday volume profile with 2 point of controls. There's only going to be 1 point of control. There's only ever 1 point of control. So yesterday's volume profile would have only just 1 point of control. It being there. That's the yesterday's point of control. Today's is where we just literally touched. So, I mean, with the point of control, like I said, like it's good to kind of know where it is, but it's more, for me, I use it more as like an area where potentially it could stop movement and we might go a bit sideways, or there might be a bit of difficulty. I don't really use it for entries. I use it more as like, I'll get out if I see problems at the point of control. Like we just touched the point of control. I think I mentioned it while I was in the trade, like, oh, we got the point of control here somewhere. Where is it? There it is. All right, that blue line. It's kind of shifted down a bit, but essentially they're the same. Both nodes are about the same size, right? So this is kind of the point of control, the whole area. So naturally, it's going to be, you know, if you see trouble, I'd rather get out. I mean, there is aggregation on the bottom prior to Trump's comment yesterday. Right. Okay, I'm with you now. Like yesterday, really the only thing, I mean, the stuff at the bottom before Trump's comments, that's pre-market anyway. Just ignore it for now. You know, I mean, until we get there, then you can start thinking about potentially looking for trades or whatever. But really, we're only ever interested in the current area we are. And figuring out what could happen, you know. I mean, I don't know what else really to say. Like what happened yesterday before Trump's comment, just pretty much ignore it for now. It doesn't really have any bearing on what's happening right now. All we got to look at is like even in terms of, you know, where could we reject off? Like if we keep going down, where could we reject off? It becomes very difficult, you know, because it's just one giant candle. It's very difficult, and it was such obviously news driven. Technicals are not that much in play right now. Right now, it's very much like long-term movement is mostly fundamentally driven, and it really comes down. I said this yesterday as well. We're not going to see true direction until something a bit more established happens, you know, regarding the war. That's essentially what's happening. People think actually Trump's comment is that's all it is. It's not really de-escalation, and they're happy to start shorting it again, going back to, you know, just kind of almost wiping out what Trump said as like, yeah, it doesn't really matter. And then other people are seeing it as well. It's de-escalation, and it could probably, you know, look at you know, the war might end soon or something, and then everything will start returning back to normal and we'll start trading higher again. But you got those two parties both kind of 50-50 almost. Maybe sellers are a little bit stronger, but for the whole, I mean, that's why we got this choppy, really choppy movement right now. So until something more comes out that gives us more clarity, I don't think we're really going to be getting out of this area for a while. I think this area is going to be kind of fair value for the most part. You know, we're just going to, buyers and sellers are just going to argue within these areas for however long until one of them gives up. You know, one of them will give up eventually. As a whole, you know, if we keep drifting down, maybe buyers after a while will start saying, actually, maybe that's all it is, and they'll start being less inclined to buy. That could happen. If we start drifting up too much, same thing could happen to sellers. Sellers might start thinking, well, you know, maybe it is actually going up. So, but it's going to be choppy regardless. This market, it's just chop. And yeah, we're just kind of stuck at this point of control area right now. So we got to, again, figure out what just happened, right? We know that volume there is sellers getting stopped out, anyone who sold essentially in that little area there, because we had a lot of sell volume come in here, remember? So those people are out the market. Good. Then we got fresh sellers trying to short it. Not that much buy pressure, actually a bit of buy pressure, quite equal actually. But again, a lot of sellers coming in. We just broken out again, bloody hell. And naturally, above that high, you're going to get a lot of stops again, potentially take profits, I imagine. Oh, that was a real good move. That was a lovely move. Oh wow, look at all this volume spiking. What is above there? Yeah, that's above, basically above the highs. Sellers have been stopped out again, potentially some buyers taking profit. So now we wait for the next kind of, you know, the next cycle, essentially. The next cycle. But this is a gap. We do see some sellers coming in, but it's not a great gap. I'm not too interested in trading it, to be honest. It's actually moved. I drew it. It's moved since then. But we have tapped into it. I'm not that. I mean, it looks okay, but it's actually potentially not a bad short, to be fair. Because we know these are most likely a lot of fresh sellers coming in. But what I would rather see, I want to see buyers get trapped. Now, these aren't, in my opinion, necessarily real buyers. I think these are mostly, take profits, stops, whatever. So there's some real buyers coming in. Let's see if real buyers come in and get trapped and fail. Then we can go short. At least, maybe back down to the point of control or something. There were some buyers, big amount of sellers, just instantly boom. But sellers are coming in. Something's happening here. You saw that those numbers jump like crazy. So we know a bunch of buyers came in here, but we also got a bunch of sellers. It's not a bad place to short, actually, because then you can have your stop just above. But neither of them are really winning right now. It's still a battle. The only reason I say it's not a bad place to short is because buyers that keep coming in. It's because your stop can be so tight here. But now buyers look like they absorb the sellers as well. So the same shit happened to the sellers that happened to the buyers. So it's not ready yet. There's some fresh buyers again. We want to see them really fail and trade below them, but they're not failing. They're actually, boom, big amount of sellers got triggered again. Those are fresh buyers at 379. Let's see if we can make a bit of progress against them. But we're not really able to get much lower at this moment in time. We want to see those buyers get squeezed out, right? Okay. Potential. Sellers aren't. Nah, see, buyers keep reloading. They keep absorbing. They just wipe out the sellers. So I don't think it's ready yet, because it's going to take a hell of a lot more sellers to push this market down right now. Sellers are starting to reload a bit there. I just don't know if these buyers are going to get squeezed out. All right, I'm going to go in short really quickly. I'm going to have a tight stop. Let's see if we can get back in below that low there, that little wick here. Let's see if we can get back to kind of like the point of control area. I imagine this is where buyers are going to defend quite a lot. If we get that defensive play, I'll get out. But otherwise, I'm looking at maybe just that, like a really, really tight scalp here, because I don't know if sellers are going to actually manage this. You see buyers want to come back in. Come on, sellers, give it a little bit more, because we are potentially about to squeeze out these buyers. And then we could get a quick reaction down, but I don't think it's going to really spark a massive move down. I think it's going to be more just a quick reaction. So we just want to squeeze those buyers out real quick. I'll put my take profit a bit lower down, to be fair. Now, look at those buyers coming in again, defending. Let's see if we can get below them really quick. If we can get below them really quick, then we got something. Come on. Oh, we did it. We did it. Well done. All right, we got the point of control coming. Buyers still coming in. Didn't really see a spike in volume, so those buyers are still in the market, actually. They're still defending. They haven't been squeezed out. You can see buyers coming in rather than a big chunk of sell volume. Nah, they're just coming in way too aggressively. Come on, get below those buyers, and we got something nice, actually. We got an even better move. Come on. We got an even better move if I can actually bring this down. If we can really squeeze them all out, I think we got an even better move, because that's a lot of buy volume that's getting trapped now. All right, we hit the point of control. Let's see if it can keep going, or if buyers still coming in. We still haven't seen those buyers exit. I just want to see a pop in the sell volume, and then I know they've exited. They're still fighting it, so this could easily reverse right now. Where's the pop? Still haven't seen it. I think that's it there. There it is. And it should flood down. There's the buyers getting squeezed out. Now we should get a really nice quick move down until buyers want to re-enter again and then potentially get the hell out. There's all the buyers getting stopped out. Come on, keep that momentum going. If not, I get out. It's fine. Come on. Can we get back down to the low? Can we do it? I'm getting out. It was a bit starting to struggle a bit there, but it's fine. I think that was a nice little move because originally I thought maybe only a few points down, but we got a bit more than I actually expected. So I'm happy with that. Actually, that beat my expectations. So can't complain, right? ZT Content, good morning to you. How are you? Coach Z, do you occasionally review your low volume nodes on the session volume profile? Your yellow ranges could potentially shift during the morning. Thanks a lot. Absolutely, yeah. Do have it always, especially if we're breaking lows and highs and stuff, they can shift about. Like if it shifted because we broke that low. That was the low of the day. And then we went down. So they do shift around a bit as lows and highs. When we're trading within the high of the day and the low of the day, like within the actual profile, they don't really shift. Yeah, look at that. Buyers instantly back in, pushing it up. That's what I mean. It's so freaking dangerous, this market. It's a proper scalpers market. But what was I saying? They can also shift a little bit if you trade within a low volume node quite a bit, and that low volume node becomes higher volume. Like, so for example, hypothetically, let's say we trade quite a bit of time in this low volume node, and this low volume node now becomes like that big. This becomes the lower volume node. You know what I mean? But when that happens, it's usually not that good. But yeah, definitely, if we go lower down past the low of the day or the high of the day, this moves, the actual distribution of volume starts changing. So they will shift around a bit. We have ESP. You just changed the zone. Exactly. Yeah, I changed it because we broke that low, right? So earlier, while we were still above, while we were still trading within that range, like down here somewhere, the volume profile is a bit different. And then as we made a new low of the day, everything's been stretched out a bit and it's kind of changed a bit, if that makes sense. Brian, sellers trapped that on 0375 area. Let's have a look. I'm assuming you sent that a little while ago. And I wasn't looking at the chat. I do apologize. 0375. I am not entirely sure where you would have said that. 0375. Let me know exactly the price you were on about, Brian. Sorry. It might be a typo or something. Mohammed, nice. Good to see you. VoIP Schmoip. Great videos. Thank you, VoIP. I'm just going to say VoIP. Cody, great call so far today, Sam. Thank you. Thank you, Cody. Andy the Greek, nice trade. Very impressed. Thank you, Andy. Brian, yeah, on the way up, I got long off it. Oh, okay, nice. Good. I'm glad you caught that, Brian. Glad you caught it. Yeah, this was a bit, again, this area here was I mean, it could have so easily, the sellers could have taken over here. So easily they could have done it. So it was actually very touch and go. But I don't think I truly got a bit more confident until I saw that at the time, because it was more defensive play. You had first time sellers have been trapped. We traded above them. These buyers were really holding their own. We had a lot of sell pressure come in, and then buyers were able to get above them, and that's when it started getting a bit better. But on this way down, where all these buyers were trapped, this was dangerous. The only reason we held here, literally the only reason this worked, is because the buyers did not exit. They held on. If those buyers decided to get the hell out during this little push down, yeah, this could have flooded. That could have very easily broken down and the trade would be gone. But it was the buyers holding on for dear life I think it was in this candle here we saw that really nice instant buy happen. These guys were holding on. These guys were holding on. Everyone here was kind of holding on to their position. So fair play to them. They kept it up, and then they re-entered and got in a bit strong, and they managed to push the sellers out. So that was pretty cool. Thomas, long time. How are you? Hi, Sammy. Thank you for putting these educational videos about footprint charting. It helped me a lot to understand how to spot good trades and avoid losses. Efficiency is very powerful. Awesome, bro. Thank you, Thomas. I'm glad it's helping you. I'm glad it's helping you. It's good to see you again. Good to see you. How's life been? I'm reading the tape for your information. Oh, okay, so you're actually reading the book. Fair play to you. That is that's quite a skill, Brian. Like the time and sales and all that. That is that's quite a skill to read. It's a proper old school trader method. I like it. I like it. It's a dying art reading the tape. Sammy, I think what you do very well, which I don't recall ever seeing in any trade room before, is that you really know how to verbalize the volume coming in and going out very well. Thank you, ZT Content. Thank you. I'm glad that it's helping. Like as I talk through the trade, I know I waffle on quite a lot, and I just talk, and never shut up. But yeah, it helps as well. Like I even do it when I trade just by myself. I talk. Not really out loud, but I kind of like talk at least mentally in my head to myself of what I'm seeing, because it kind of helps me track what is going on. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, appreciate it. Daniel, hello, dear people. What have I missed? Are you going long or short? Daniel, you missed a long and a short. So we took a long. Let me get rid of this. We took a really small long here. I can't even remember taking that, to be honest, but apparently we did. Oh yeah, no, yeah, because it didn't work. Yeah, I remember that. That was the V-shaped reversal that failed, and I thought it was happening. And we took a long there, and then we took a short up here. So we've had a pretty good day so far. It's been quite good. But in terms of like what's up next, no idea, man. No idea. I have no long-term bias for this market at this moment in time. Not at all. It's purely going to be down to news about Iran. That's what's going to move this market. So long-term, flip a coin for all I care. I really don't know. Buy, sell. If you're a swing trader, it's a coin flip, in my opinion. All I can do is like super short scalps in this market. This is the type of market where you just scalp, you know. Well, the talk is the real lecture, Sammy. I'm here for the talks. I appreciate it, Alameen. Appreciate it. Well, I'm glad that the talking people find it useful. Because I see all these videos of people online who like trade. I don't know if they're doing it live or not, but you'll always see it on Instagram and stuff. They'll be in a trade and they're just sitting there or on their phone, and it's like fast forwarded, and they're not saying anything, and then it hits TP, and they're like, "Well, TP hit." I'm like, "Okay, it's cool, but like, what's actually going on? Do you know what I mean? Like, talk us through it. You know, why did you take the trade? What's your thought process? Why did you set your take profit there? You know, your stop loss, etc." Yes, you explain what's happening very accurately. Thank you, ZT. Coach Z, you talking through the entire live stream is why we are here. You are teaching us. If you didn't talk, very few would be here. Keep up the great work. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Coach. I'll keep that in mind. I'll keep talking. Yes, it helps to understand the why. Exactly. Okay, good. Well, I'm glad. I'll keep doing it. I mean, I was never really going to stop, but I'll I'll keep doing it. Let's see what's happening now. I mean, a lot of these black lines now, we can pretty much kind of move them just to like the obvious highs and lows. I think we're in a bit of a range by the looks of it. We are in a range, little tight range. So of course, I can imagine us stop losses would be, down here, this area. It's going to be quite a few stops from buyers who are still holding. I think there's definitely buyers still in this market holding this trade. Probably not that many anymore, because I feel a lot of them did get out near the highs here. I mean, we just saw a huge, beautiful spike in volume, right? But again, there's definitely, I mean, if you just look at the overall contract size, you've got 1,000, another 1,600, 4,000. I mean, yeah, that was a lot of stop losses, but I do think there's still going to be some buyers in this market, kind of below this little area here. So if the sellers do manage to get it, below around here, I can imagine a lot of buyers are going to be getting out at break even or at a loss. So I can imagine stops to be there. Obviously above this little kind of range, any seller right now who's got in. So pretty much anyone here. I mean, just look at the volume, actually. This is packed. Ton of sellers all there. Ton of buyers all there. Ton of sellers again. Lots of sellers, lots of buyers. There is a lot of volume accumulated just right now. If one side gets stopped out, so really you don't really want to be trading it until you see stops get hit, right? When we see that happen, whether it's up or down, then you want to see what happens immediately after. And then we can kind of call it whether you want to continue down or go up. If that makes sense. Excuse me. Keep talking. Just please don't call the sellers bastard. I'll try not to. Hey, if I'm a seller, then the buyers will be the bastards, right? That's Pelosi is listing as well, bro. That's when the glitches happen. Sometimes it feels like live commentary of a 100-meter Olympic race. Your live commentary is absolute gold. Oh, that's brilliant. That is brilliant. Gabrielle, I got chopped up. It happens, man. It happens. Getting chopped up in a market like this is very easy to happen, especially when you're in a range like this. This is it's dangerous. Yeah, super dangerous, this market. What's dangerous is how quickly it can shift, how quickly it can change. You saw it at the open today. Where's the open? Here somewhere, right? Yeah. This was the open, boom, boom, boom. Buyers are coming in. And then instantly we had a quick shift to the sell side. And then another quick shift to the buy side. And now a quick shift more to the sell side. Like, the shift is happening super quick. Doesn't mess around. And just looking at the candles, like in real time, it's just up and down, up and down. It's like the 1 second chart must look horrific. I mean, it just looks a bit weird. You probably see it better on candlesticks. But it's just noise. A lot of the 1 second chart looks very noisy. Like that is just noise. You've got really tight ranges even on the 1 second chart, which is insane if you think about it. Whereas normally a good kind of move, you see that just, boom, 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 like this. This is nice, right? And then this move up, you can just see how choppy and it is, It's not nice. It's not a nice market at all. Oh, we might stop out some sellers when getting to the top. Let's see if they get stopped out. Watch the volume spike. Nothing yet. I'm surprised. There's a bit of a spike, but I thought it would be more. I think sellers are still in this market. They're still coming in. They haven't actually been stopped out. I didn't see a big enough spike that looks like sellers getting stopped out, right? We didn't see like an instant boom in the volume. I think sellers have got majority of sellers are actually holding their stops above here. I mean, of course, a few people would have got out, but I think the majority are above here. Because we didn't really see it. And this is why structure, like if you're just looking at candlesticks, you would naturally assume oh yeah, all the stops are going to be above the range, but until you actually see it in the order flow happen, they're not out the market. Sellers are still holding. They are actually still holding, these sellers. That's why they're defending. That's why there are more people coming in. They're not willing to get stopped out yet. Look at that. They're adding. They're adamant. Sellers are adamant. It might not be a bad short again because they're that adamant. They haven't yet got out the market. Yeah, and then they're starting to push it down. Damn. So again, this is why order flow is so important, because you can make presumptions just on the candlesticks. Oh yeah, everyone's stop is going to be here. I thought naturally there's going to be stops above this range, right? But we didn't see it in the order flow. There was no significant kind of spike in buy volume to indicate that any seller who got in this range has been stopped out. Of course, a few. Don't get me wrong. There's always going to be a few, but the mass majority, you didn't see them get out, and they just added to their position. They're more adamant to push it down. It doesn't mean they're going to necessarily win, but they haven't been written out the market yet, and buyers are still willing to trade as well. But you see, if these buyers start failing, we kind of get below them, I think we can go back down again, and we will take out the buyers. So look at these sellers. They're really, really defending. This is actually a very interesting thing that we're seeing, because we know these are fresh sellers again. They've doubled down on their position. They're not willing to let go. Buyers are trying to, they're trading a bit higher up now. They're wanting to kind of squeeze them out. Buyers are slowly, they might do it. Let's see. Before we jump in, let's actually see if they're going to do it, if they're effective at it. But I think they're not really that effective. It might be all right to jump in for a short. I'm going in for a short again to see if the sellers, because they just want it more by the looks of it. They wanted to really hold it. But if we get above those sellers, so my stop now can really be, above that candle. Buyers might take it, but I didn't see the sellers wanting to lose right now. Come on, sellers. Where was that energy? You had it a minute ago. They might give up now. We'll see. We shall see. Our buyers are coming in very heavy. They're trying to squeeze out the sellers. Or they might do it here. Potentially, that is a lot of sellers getting out now. I think lightening their position potentially. It's hard to read whether that's real fresh buyers or a lot of the sellers who did get in are starting to lighten off and getting a bit worried because they couldn't get it really further down. I don't know. Very hard to know. I'll say it's a combination of both. But if it is sellers potentially getting out, I might get out with them, unless sellers are willing to come back in strong again. But they really held on. Like, the only reason I've gone in short is because they seem to have wanted it more than buyers here. But it looks like we might. We'll see. I mean, sellers can still come in. They are coming in. They're still defending. They're not willing to give up yet. But we're not below those buyers. My anticipation is if we get below now, they've been trapped. I think they're out. That was a very quick movement. I think that's unfortunately it. I mean, we're pretty much at my stop. We're out. Yeah. Let's see when the sellers get stopped out. It should be somewhere here. We will see them spike. Surely they'll get stopped out now and give up. Still, I still wouldn't say that they're out. They're still in the market. I think it's going to be above that high. That's the only place I can imagine right now. 200. I'm just trying to see if there's any. Don't think it's... No, it's just they're holding it. They're not willing to get out yet, the sellers. But they're not really adding much at the same time. I don't know. I think they might be able to still take it. But they're so close to getting stopped out, it's becoming dangerous. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't want to re-enter just yet. Because realistically speaking, you kind of want to squeeze out these guys before you enter. Because look, they're still adding. The distribution is still very much bullish right now. It would be front running if you were to enter. But it's whoever gives up, basically. And I think any second now, I think the sellers might give up. They're probably sweating right now because they're still holding on. Any second, surely buyers are going to squeeze them out now. Wait for it. They're still coming in, even at the highs. They're actually adding at the highs. These sellers are dead serious about keeping this market down. But surely, any second, the buyers are just going to pop above them and wipe them out. The sellers are still adding. That's insane. They have not given up. I mean, you've got to hand it to them. They might actually do it. They might take control again. They're not giving up. I don't know. For me, I'm holding out of this one because but they haven't given up. Damn, look. They're taking control again. Holy moly. They were that close. They were literally on the board of getting stopped out and they gained control again. And now the buyers are probably panicking. These buyers here are probably realistically going to get, their stops are going to be below here probably. Let me get rid of this black line because that's no longer really in play. Buyers are this is a tough one. Because buyers aren't out the market, sellers aren't out the market, they're still fighting. So technically it's still, do you know what I mean? No one has given up yet, so we don't know yet. The battle is still happening. But I'll be amazed. I will be like hats off to the sellers. If they take out the buyers here, they did extremely well. Buyers are willing to defend. It's anyone's call right now. This is why we're getting these big candles up and down. They're both adamant. Yeah, I don't want to be in the middle of a battle like this. Let's just have a quick look at the, what do you call it? The chat. I got chopped up. The first sell shift 250 fast. Gotcha, Gabriel. Benjamin, long time. You done trading with the NQ, Sam? Not really. It's just at the moment I can't trade the NQ with my account. I still need to get that unlocked. So I'm doing ES, but ES, NQ, very similar, Those are fresh sellers, Sammy. I honestly, ZT, I can't remember where. Oh, they're about to get stopped out. I don't know where in the chart I was when you said that, so I'm not sure. Long time no see. Exactly. It is a seller's market. Coach, great day. I'm up over 2,400 today and finally got my consistency. I'm live. Amazing, Eric. Well done. Wishing you an amazing day. Excellent, Eric. Glad to hear it. Mastro, ciao. How are you? How are you doing today? I'm doing great. I'm in big shorts. Let's see how it goes. Fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed. I have a big, strong bear with me today. Eric says, Coach, I posted a link in Discord for all to join. Ah, amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Eric. Please do, Benjamin. Where can I find a link? Awesome. So they haven't yet got out. The buyers still are in the market. But the sellers are on the weaker foot right now. They're going to be a bit more in trouble than the buyers, I think, as a whole. Mainly because we still have sellers from, this range here who are in the market, who held through that drawdown. They came back in. They're trying to get it below the buyers. A lot of the buyers here are probably still feeling quite okay about it. But I thought the sellers would be. I thought when we got that close, I thought that any second it will pop up and all of them are gone. But they held on. They held on. But this is what I said earlier. Like, when we got above the original range, right? This little range here. Where is it? When we got above that range there, I naturally assume there's going to be stops. All the sellers are going to be, stops here. But we never saw anything in the order flow to indicate they got out. And they actually added. So that's why I was like, these sellers, they're not giving up. They might actually still get this market down because they want it more. They're more, But then buyers, look, the buyers want it equally as much. They're not giving up either. Flip a coin. That's what I would say right now. Flip a coin. So until one of them gets out the market, I truly don't know what the deal is here. Autumn, good to see you. Great to see you, Autumn. Choppy, very choppy, Mastro, definitely. Very choppy. We just have to wait, unfortunately, for this to resolve itself. The amount of volume that's been accumulated up and down here. One side is going to break. We just don't know which side as of yet. Maybe sellers are going to finish out here now. Maybe, come on, this is like the third time they've been tested. They're still coming in at the highs. You saw that instantly, 124, boom. In a split second, there's a massive institutional seller who's not willing to give up. This almost looks like, I don't know if I should say it, but this almost looks like not insider trading. I mean, it could be. But there is someone who's adamant of not getting out this market. And they keep adding to it. They're in drawdown. They're 100% being drawdown right now. They're seeing the buyers are not giving up. And they're still like, nope, we'll just add more. Just add more. They're almost building up a position, but they're doing it aggressively, not passively, which is very weird. Let's see if they come back in again. Or are they going to get stopped out here? They're still not out the market. They're still coming in. They're not out the market. We've just about broke the high. Their stop still hasn't been triggered. Oh. Is my internet? Am I still live? Let me know if I'm still live because I saw my charts flicker. Just let me know in the chat if I'm still live, everyone. Yes. All right, cool. Okay, perfect. I don't know if you guys saw that, but my charts went like blank for a second. That's usually like internet connectivity issues. It's the seller who knows Trump was lying through his teeth yesterday. Well, the thing is, ever since we saw that, look, they're still coming in. The seller's still coming in. They're not giving up. I think it was too obvious, the insider trading yesterday we saw. That was too obvious. And I think whoever did that has probably been told off a little bit and be like, what the hell are you doing? Are you mad? Why did you do that? That is 15 minutes before. You're making it too obvious. Do you know what I mean? Because it was too obvious, let's be honest. Everyone noticed that. But whoever the seller is in the market right now, they're not giving up. They almost got no real risk management. You know what I mean? They just kind of keep adding and keep adding, and I feel like it's one particular person because it's always in one giant chunk, right? Keep looking at it. 260. Let's see if they add here. 300's going up. They haven't sold yet. They're not selling. And they're not being squeezed out. We're not seeing where, you would expect their stops to be around here maybe now. They still haven't got out. Maybe they get out now. Are we going to see a big chunk of buy volume? No, look, boom. They just added another 270. They're just adding. But it's not done in stages. It's done in chunks. Maybe they'll get out now. If this market crashes down based on some tweet, something like that, it's inside. I'm telling you, this is someone insider trading because they're not giving up. No one is that ballsy. Do you know what I mean? You got to question it. No one is that freaking ballsy. I get it. We're near a high. So yes, you're going to get selling happening. Just look at the volume they're putting in. No one is that ballsy. Nah, this is but then there are also, you could almost argue the buyers are just as aggressive, but we haven't tested the buyers in terms of their stops yet, right? Overall, we're still trading above the majority of the buyers. So the buyers, naturally, they're going to keep defending because they're not out the market yet. Do you know what I mean? They're still holding onto their position because their position's okay. It's all right. If you were a buyer anywhere within these ranges, you generally won't be too worried. But if you were a seller, we're drifting up and you're still holding on. We just about cleared the high. There was no stops there that got triggered. Maybe the stops are a bit higher. That can be the case. But every time we get a bit higher, they're just willing to, boom, big chunk of volume. Maybe now they'll get stopped out. All right, we had a bit of a spike there. But I would expect, look, they're still adding. I think some people's stops got absolutely annihilated, yes, because we did see a chunk like 600. I think it went up to like 800 or something for a split second, closed at 600, fine. But then instantly, they're still adding. I think the majority, that one big seller is still in that freaking market. They still have yet to exit. And they are almost the only reason this market hasn't shot up yet. I don't know. I want to call it as this is a bit suspicious activity because this person isn't giving up. No one is that ballsy. They're going to be, the drawdown they will be in right now would be very scary for most people. And most risk management will tell you, get the fuck out the market. You have to have a defined stop. This is almost like, it almost looks like a rookie is trading. You know what beginners do? Beginner traders, they always add on to losing positions and try and, like average out at a better price and keep moving their stop and kind of, it almost looks like that is happening. But it's a big player. It's not some guy, with hardly any money. You don't notice them, but this is someone big doing it, which then begs the question, who the hell why? Is this just some billionaire who's having fun right now? Doubtful, right? Or is this someone who keeps adding, keeps taking opportunity to buy at a good price? You know, every time we get quite high up, buy a bit more. And they're doing it aggressively rather than passively, how most institutions would enter, because they know maybe at some point something's going to be said and boom, we could go down. So when did it start? Let me figure this out. When did it start? I can't track exactly when this seller started, right? But I'm gonna say around this area here we started seeing that seller come in, right? Potentially, it could be different sellers, hard to know. But in the last recent kind of moves up, there's definitely been that seller. They're still doing it. They're still doing it. I'm starting to think, am I reading this wrong? I know. I mean, I think I'm reading it correctly. I don't think I'm reading this wrong. It is, I think it's one individual that's pushing the majority of the sell volume. Whatever the average kind of sell volume would be, take that away, and all the additional volume we're seeing, because we're seeing it happen in such big chunks, I think it's one individual. And no one is that ballsy. Is cumulative delta telling you anything during this chop? Not really right now. Let me have a look. The problem is the volume that's being posted on both sides is so extreme. We get these massive swings of, the cumulative goes, from like 2,000 all the way to 5,000, because we got big players right now just piling it on both sides. And because it's such a choppy market, it's very hard to the cumulative is going to be affected massively from candle to candle. It's not like a gradual kind of, gradual kind of build up of volume. It's very it's like someone, it's literally like a duel right now. One person's shooting a bullet and the other person's shooting back. It's not a gradual build up. So the cumulative is not really that helpful right now. Someone with big money. This is gigantic money. Yeah. You are not. And the funny thing is, sellers have been like this since London. But we're getting the same shit with the buyers. Oh, something. Look at that. You saw that seller come in massive. What the hell is going on? Something's happening. Maybe I did read it wrong. Maybe they were building it up passively on the other side. I need to go on Financial Juice. What the hell is going? Something was happening. Something was happening. I think is there anything that just came out now? Come on, load. Ugh. Load. Why is my Financial Juice not loading? Something is going on. Maybe they did enter passively. I don't know now. I'm starting to question what the hell is going on. But something was weird in this whole area. I'm telling you, it was suspicious. Something just didn't look right in the order flow. Sorry, nothing from what I can see has come out. The last bit of news, 249. No, nothing's come out. They're still coming in. I don't know if they got stopped out. Like, this is hard to, I mean, look, the volume's all over the place right now. I'm definitely not trading it, that's for sure. I'm definitely not getting involved in this madness right now, because I can't make heads or tails of what the hell is happening. All I'm seeing is there's an adamant seller who looked aggressive. I think they were aggressive. I don't think they were passive. Passive would be more, it wouldn't be in such big chunks. That's the thing. And for a split second, we saw somewhere here as that candle went up, there was a big chunk of sellers just came in, instantly got wiped out by the buyers. But then who the hell is buying so aggressively? Maybe the buyer is also very... All right. Let's try to figure this out logically speaking. We've got another high here that's going to be naturally, there's going to be stops there, right? From any previous people who sold, there's going to be stops there. So we expect volume to spike at those lines. And yes, okay, we get the volume spike at and around those lines. Those are definitely old sellers, anyone who's, a bit longer in the market, their stops getting out pretty much. That makes sense. Cool. I can ignore that buy volume, right? That massive chunk of sell volume, it could be a lot of these buyers manually exiting. It could be, but I don't think it was. It could be an aggressive seller coming in again. What sparked that massive move? That was just pure aggression from the buy side for some reason. But again, we got close to them being stopped out, and then a buyer came in super aggressive. So the buyer's doing the exact same thing as the seller's doing. If you actually look at it, there's a buyer in the market who's not willing to let themselves get stopped out either. Because we got close, the sellers were starting to push them down, right? And we naturally, again, you're going to expect all that accumulation of all those buyers that came in, their stops are going to be either below, that area or below here. They weren't, since we got to the bottom, they weren't willing to let go and put in a lot of volume. I don't know, man. I don't know, honestly. Financial Juice gives a HTTP error. I've managed to load up my Financial Juice, but nothing is... The last news I see was Iranian Revolutionary Guard Navy. Any ship passed through the Strait of Hormuz requires full coordinate. But that was at a time where that was 2:49 my time. So here, it didn't do anything. So it wasn't news. As far as I'm aware, that wasn't anything to do with anything that came out. But something, I've been saying this for ages now, since we've been here, something is not right. But because it's happening on both sides. And I can't figure out why. Because it doesn't make sense. If it was insider trading now, you would expect that only one side will be seriously unbalanced. But this almost looks like the buyer, whoever these buyers are just as adamant as whoever these sellers are. No one's willing to get the hell out the market. They're all just, nope, I'm right, add. Fuck no. No idea, man. No idea. Everybody's trying to access. What do you mean by manually exit? So manually exiting is literally when you exit. So imagine I hit buy and then I click the exit to like manually exit. That's manually exiting. Like not a stop loss or take profit, basically. You manually exit the market. But I don't think that those sellers at the top there were buyers manually exiting. I don't think that was it. Market was just like this last Trump term. I'm going to have to get used to it. Yeah. oil dropping could be Iran-related news. I see nothing on financial juice yet. This is the thing. Nothing has come out. On financial, I feel like it's going to be a pump and dump. It could very well be as well. But these buyers aren't. They're not just nobodies. Look at this. Look at this. That seller is still adamant. I thought for a second there, you know, maybe something's. But the buyer is just as adamant. This is. Do you know what this market reminds me of? FOMC. You know when Jerome Powell's talking and the market can just be like shit ton of volume comes out because every word he says, everyone is freaking out. This looks like FOMC right now. Jerome's right now talking. There's nothing there. What time we're at? So this was ages ago. The flash manufacturing PMI, that happened ages ago. That's got nothing to do with it. It's not going to be anything to do with something to do with Germany. Like 3:15, that's not even happened yet. Well, that's just happening now, so it can't be that. This feels like FOMC. This feels like Jerome Powell right now is talking, and it's a very hot topic. And okay, something's just come out at 2:59. It came out. So here on this candle, Gulf states weigh military options to counter Iran escalation. Iran's biggest Gulf Arab neighbors are considering joining the US-Israeli. Oh, this is escalation then. US-Israeli war against Iran, and could be pushed to if Iran attacks the critical infrastructure, according to several people with knowledge on this situation. The Gulf's most powerful states, Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates in particular, are losing patience with Iranian strikes and have already hit ports, energy facilities, and airports, said these people, who requested anonymity in order to speak freely. But they would only join the war if Tehran makes good on its threats to attack vital Gulf power and water infrastructure, a high threshold, the people added. Okay, so this is from like an inside source, but nothing is like, it's not the governments themselves, so Saudi Arabia and UAE haven't actually officially said it, but someone with good knowledge is basically anonymously saying that is the case. Maybe that can give complete uncertainty, because if it's true, that means more countries are being dragged into the war. That's escalation. That's short, right? That's bad. Drop. Others are probably saying, well, no, actually, this could be complete utter bullshit. We don't know. This is some anonymous person. How do we know they're telling the truth? How do we know this is right? It's unverified. Maybe it is. I think it is. And that happened on this candle here, right? But we saw the battle between buyers and sellers being so adamant way before that, right? So I think it was an element of insider trading. But the information itself is questionable. It's not confirmed, right? Because I can see how both sides would see it. As one side is saying, because it's not official news, but it is big. There's another one at 3:02 my time. So literally this candle right now, there's been US outreach and Tehran will listen, whatever that means. CNN citing Iranian source. Okay, so that sounds like de-escalation. That means the US and Iran are talking, and Iran are willing to listen. That sounds good. De-escalation. The fuck is going on, man? This is why the market is so mental right now. This is why. But do you see how it happened before it officially happened? Before it officially was announced? Did you see it in the order flow? Something wasn't making sense. I couldn't make heads or tails of it. I was like, why are they so adamant? This is not normal trading. Both sides are so freaking adamant and not letting go. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. Black and White Rock battling it out. That's a good one, Nils. I mean, Pakistan would host talks to end the war. That's the first I've heard of that, but these boner candles got me on edge. Yeah, people, honestly, stop. Don't trade right now. Do not trade. This is not normal order flow related stuff. These are giant people battling it out. We don't want to get caught in this. This is no market for a retail trader right now. No trading. Iran's open to outreach from US. Yes, I saw that, Brian. I saw that the news would make the market fall off a cliff. That's not what we're seeing right now. Manufacturing PMI was slightly better. One thing I feel certain of, these are really big players fighting out. 100% ZTCon. This is volume that is huge. This feels like FOMC, Jerome Powell speaking right now. You know, that's the kind of craziness we're seeing. Crazy day. I have to go for a walk the dog. Have a great day. See you in a few weeks. Andy, thank you for tuning in, man. Enjoy. Thank you so much. Looking at oil dropping could be taken by markets as de-escalation. I think both. Yeah, I think de-escalation, it looks like 50-50, right? There's arguments to be made on both sides. And I think that's what we're seeing. Again, it's big players disagreeing and going in hard because they're adamant they're correct. And now we're kind of dying off, right? We're dying off a bit. I don't know. I don't think that's the actual news traders just pulling liquidity out, uncertainty, making for thin markets. It could be people exiting. Yes, I think there's an element of that happening. But the way the orders were coming through on the footprint in big chunks, that's usually aggressive orders being placed. Boom, you know? I wish I listened to you before. I've stopped each trade so far. I've been stopped each trade so far. Pia, look, it's don't beat yourself up, man. We all get eaten up, chopped up. Traders don't like these conditions of comments coming out anytime. No, 100%, 100%. I agree with you. But even before the news dropped, something wasn't going on, man. Something was happening, and I felt like, okay, so there's a bit more knowledge coming in. Iranian sources. In fact, let me show you actually what I'm seeing here. I don't know why I haven't put it on the screen. So this is this sounds very bad, right? This is escalation. This is potentially the Gulf countries coming in, but it's kind of unverified. It wasn't actually officially announced by Saudi Arabia or the UAE. This is just someone within, apparently within the government saying that. So take it with a pinch of salt type thing. But it's naturally doesn't sound good, right? If they're correct. This sounds positive. All right. They're starting to talk. US and Iran are starting to talk to each other. That's good. That should get the market up. Let's see what is coming out now. Iranian sources acknowledge US outreach as war rages on. An Iranian source told CNN on Tuesday that there's been outreach between the United States and Tehran, and that Iran is willing to listen to sustainable proposals to end the war. That's positive. There's been outreach between the US and Iran initiated by Washington, blah, 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 in recent days. That's not really new, to be fair. We kind of know that. But nothing has been reached to a level of full-on negotiations. The sources said messages have been received with various intermediaries to scope out whether an agreement to end the war can be reached. The proposals being looked at are aimed not merely at achieving a ceasefire, but a concrete agreement to end the conflict between the US and Iran. They added without going into further detail. So this is all kind of, good. The sources refused to comment on Trump's public statements on the negotiations and emphasized Iran's position has been always clear that Tehran is ready to consider any viable proposal. Iran is not asking for a meeting or direct talks with the United States, but is willing to listen if a plan for a sustainable deal comes within reach that would preserve their national interests of the Islamic Republic of Iran, the sources said. Iran is ready to provide all the necessary guarantees that will never develop nuclear weapons, but is entitled to peaceful use of nuclear technology. Okay, so nothing really groundbreaking. I mean, that's kind of what has already... Okay, so yeah, that's not too groundbreaking. And this, we can forget. I mean, that's something to do with NVIDIA right now. Who cares? All right. Interesting. And it's kind of, you know, settled down a bit now. And now you're seeing that volume is kind of not coming in anymore. This is starting to... It's almost like the calm before the storm. Something... All right, look. I think people had insider information, 100%, because you saw it happen before the news officially came out, right? But it was two insider traders fighting each other, funnily enough. So I think both sides were very pissed off with each other. And a bit of craziness. I think majority are probably looking to get out, and I'm not seeing that aggression anymore come in, kind of calming down a bit. I don't know whether anything more will come out. I think that might be it. I think that's pretty much all we're going to get. But my God, what a display in this area of just... And the only way you could have spotted, the only way we could recognize that something wasn't right before it happened was because that seller was adamant. They weren't giving up, you know? They were adding on even, and their stops weren't getting hit. Wherever you thought their stops should be, which would make sense, there wasn't that kind of spike. And you're like, all right, they're still in the market. And then they added on, they added on, they added on. Why? That's the big question we're asking. Why? Why is this seller, who's clearly huge, adamant at keep, you know, to sell? Like, they must know something, right? It doesn't make any sense. Now, we never really tested the buyers in that area, right? We never really got to see the buyers getting tested. Only a couple of times we saw the buyers potentially get tested as we got kind of close to where we expect stop losses to be, but we never got there and didn't see their stop losses get hit. So we couldn't know if that buyer was, you know, because imagine their stops were here. If we got here and we saw all of a sudden a massive amount of sell volume come in, then we know that buyer is, well, they were wrong. They got stopped out. They're willing to accept defeat. Okay, they're not that adamant, that buyer, right? But so we never really tested the buyer. So it was hard to know if that buyer was also just ridiculously adamant. But it did start looking like it after a while when they just kept adding as well. The buyer was coming in very aggressive. And I mean, maybe that seller did get stopped out a little bit around these areas. It's hard to know. But then we saw that again, they were still willing to sell as we got closer to the news. Remember, this is the news candle, this one right here, right? This is where it officially came out. As we got closer to the news, the more hectic it became. We just saw volume that was insane. Because they're both sides are like, I know what's about to come out. Boom, 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 you know. And then it kind of calmed down. And now, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Crazy, right? Crazy. I mean, when stuff like that happens, just don't trade. I think back away. Definitely just, it's not worth it. We as retail traders, we're not designed to trade that. So if I'm long and do manual exit, then it will show as buy. No, so Saeed, if you're long, so if you're in a buy and you do a manual exit, it will show as a sell. Okay. And if you're in a sell and you do a manual exit, it will show as a buy. But if you're long, so if you're in a buy and you get take profit, your take profit gets hit, it will show as a buy. Okay. That's the only time a buyer will show as a buy is if their take profit gets hit, and vice versa for the seller. I'm sure you're correct. I wasn't at my desk when the news popped it. No, I think, Brian, I think you've made great observations. Absolutely. I think there was definitely an element of people getting out as well. I think there was a massive combination of the both. But I mean, what actually happened in that candle was very hard to know. On the news candle, truth be told, I can't remember exactly what happened at that moment. I wasn't really properly paying attention to it, but without a doubt, you know, things move so quick. It's so hard to track. Like, you need to have a brain of an algorithm to figure out what the hell's going on. So if you're not super confident at exactly what is happening, just stay out. You know, if you can't read it and you don't know if this is exiting, buying, selling, what the hell is going on, just back off. It's not worth it, right? Paper trading the rest of the morning. This price action is nuts. Cody, that's the smart way to do it, man. I'm not trading definitely right now. Like, I'm backing off trading until things calm down. Aggressive buying is still happening. Yeah, you're absolutely right. There is aggressive buying still happening. There's some aggressive selling still happening. I mean, that was a lot of aggressive buying. I say a lot, but a lot for the last, you know, few minutes in recent times. Maybe the seller is just one big player and the seller is the government's market crash prevention department, and the buyer, yeah, sorry. I could be. I mean, that's quite an interesting, quite an interesting take from it. I never even thought about that. It could very well be protect the market. Who knows? But either way, it was just two giant institutions fighting it out. That's all we know at this moment in time. Iran was perhaps calculating that its Gulf neighbors will back off. Remember, Iran was bombing its neighbors, hoping they will back off. With this unified statement by the big neighbors showing solidarity to the US, the calculations could be that Iran will now be more prepared to negotiate. It's being isolated, and this is very volatile until confirmed, obviously. Good point. Very good point, Peter. Absolutely. I mean, there's so many dynamics at play right now. And it all comes down to what people believe. And clearly, you know, there's disagreement. It's not clear. Like before, when Trump announced he's not going to attack Iran's energy, there's only one way to really take that in that moment. And, you know, it was clear agreement. Right now, and I think that's the danger with, until we get really solid news, we're going to have this disagreement in this market. And that's why I'm saying the long-term direction is really hard to figure out right now. I mean, it's a coin flip because anything can happen. We don't know what the future holds, right? And until that happens, we won't have the long-term direction. So it's a scalper's market. I wouldn't want to swing trade or anything like that. You can look at structure and say, well, you know, fair value gap, whatever. But at that point, all that shit is meaningless. Do you know what I mean? In terms of longer term trades, anything can happen. You know, Trump could come out and say, you know what, we are going to bomb Iran. Boom, everything crashes down. We just don't know. Like, it's impossible to know right now. It's pure gambling if you're just trying to figure out the long term direction after that. So until we get something concrete, a scalper's market 1,000,000%. You know. Chris FX Original, hello, how are you, my friend? Hello, Sammy. I would like to let you know that you're doing a great job, my brother. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. Really, really appreciate that. Thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying the live streams and the content. ZT content, it's a bluff by the Gulf states because they know very well this is much bigger than just Iran. 100%, yeah. I think, I mean, the fact that the Gulf states haven't officially confirmed it was just some person in the inside, apparently, who's anonymous as well. All right, fine. Whichever reporter maybe have done their due diligence and said, all right, yeah, it's a trusted source. That could be the case. But until it comes officially from the Gulf states and they actually make an official statement, it's, do you know what I mean? Until that happens, it's take it with a pinch of salt, essentially. And I mean, for market orders, aggressive orders, buyer sits on the ask, and the seller sits on the bid. For limit orders, passive orders, buyer sits on the bid, and the seller sits. Oh, okay, you're just replying. Yeah, correct. Yeah, Coach C, Sammy, don't know how much longer you'll be on today, but if I give you some dates for a fixed range volume profile, can you draw it out? Your low volume node on higher time frames really is working great. Absolutely, Coach C. Yeah, give me the dates. I'll happily draw it out for you. Rav, guys, catch you later. Pick up from the station. Rav, thank you for joining. Thank you, my friend. I'll catch you tomorrow. Con, good to see you. I would love to be a fly on Trump's toilet. You make so much money, man. Maybe send him a gift, something he really likes, and put a little listening device in it. I mean, he'll get caught instantly. Can you imagine just having like a bug in his Oval Office and just hearing everything and be like, right, time to... I'm sure people have tried that. I have no doubt people have probably tried that. And probably have tried it with all US presidents. I can imagine, but they've obviously... They'll catch on to that very quickly. It's never going to even make it. Thank you, Eric. Thank you. I would be very surprised if Russia, China, North Korea just sit and watch the Gulf states jump in on Iran as well. Since Iran against the US and Israel is already a lopsided war to begin with. I think for, China, especially China, it's actually that they're happy to sit back because they're more in war, not in I don't think they want to be in a physical war, right? I think they're happy just seeing the US spend so much money, hurt them financially, essentially. That's good for China. They're happy to sit back, just let Iran do its thing, as long as nothing too crazy happens. Like they said, they'll step in if, like nuclear war, so if anyone uses nukes or anything like that, yeah, then they'll step in. That's what they said, which is understandable. But I don't think China really want to be involved in it because they know it's expensive. They haven't really got that much to gain. They're happy to just sit on the sidelines and be moral support, essentially, and just watch the US's economy, get hurt by it. That's good for them. That's literally what they want to do. That's what I think. But yeah, it's scary time. I mean, we're slowly starting to drift up. We're not really seeing. I haven't really looked at the order flow live, to be honest. But we're starting to look a bit more normal, the market. You can kind of tell that battle between that two big buyers and sellers, they're kind of just giving up. They stopped. Like, don't get me wrong, there's still buying happening. There's still aggression, but it's nowhere near as crazy as it was. It's kind of calmed down. So it looks a bit better now. Sammy, so you're done trading today? I think I'm done. Yeah, I did all right today. Like, it's not too bad. 240. I'm happy with that. I think I'm pretty much done. I'm just going through the comments and then I'll probably be on for another 5 minutes or so and then we'll call it a day, I think. Because again, it doesn't look like a nice market to trade right now, truth be told. It's a dangerous market. Brian, the world leaders are sitting around the table, breaking bread together, laughing it up at US peasants. Yeah, crazy times, man. Crazy times, Brian. SP Ticker, good to see you, my friend. How are you? Surprised they haven't grabbed Taiwan. Surprise, yeah. Good time, good distraction, just to quickly swoop it up, right? Tom Rogers, my friend, how are you? Long time. 24,243. I've got a TP there. So Sam, good morning, and tell NQ lovely things. I believe it respects you. I'm doing the ES today, but NQ hopefully works out for you, man. Hopefully it works out for you. But great to see you again, Tom. Thank you for all your teaching, and thank you for all that you do for us. So greatly appreciate you. So Eric, thank you. Thank you. Much appreciated. Great stream and commentary. Thank you. Thank you, Brian. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Hey, Sam, I'm new here. Thanks for what you're doing here. A lot of gold nuggets. Thanks a lot. Malik, you're more than welcome. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Pube Tickle, welcome back. Loved your commentary during that. Had me cracking up. And Trader, thank you again, Sammy. You too, man. Hey, when is Ola Prime going to get Trader Bait? They keep telling me very soon. Every time I ask, they're like, we're in the final stages. At this point, I'll say just keep your eye out on their social media. They'll announce it at some point, but I don't know exactly what's happening because that's not part of my department, really. I have nothing to do with that kind of side. So, you know, yeah. So, don't know what to say, really, Tom. It is what it is. I think it's just, yeah. Cody, catch you tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in. But guys, yeah, I think we'll leave it there. This market looks like it's drifting up a bit. Looks like those big buyers and sellers have finally given up, and the market's back to kind of a bit more normal. Sammy, please come to Dubai again. I will absolutely. I'll be coming back to Dubai at some point. Definitely. How to set up the footprint chart is yours. Amit, there's a video on my channel. It's literally titled how to set up the footprint chart on TradingView. It literally is titled that. I show you exactly my settings and everything. Much easier just to watch that video. And I explain it all, okay? Coach C, my daily time frame dates for the volume profile is listed above. Oh, did you put it up? Let me have a look. I don't see the comment, Coach C. Drop it in again. I don't see any dates. The last comment I see from you is you asking about the volume profile. So drop the daily time frame dates, and I'll gladly do that. We'll just wait for your comment, and then we'll do that volume profile, and we'll call it a day there. Just double check. I'll make sure I've got all messages. Yep. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't see the dates. There we go. 4/7/25 to 10/30/25. Okay, long time back. All right, we'll go to maybe the 4 hour. I'm going to delete all this stuff off the chart then and get rid of the session volume profile. So 4th of, are you doing American dates? So yeah, it's American wise, yeah, because 30 is in the middle. All right, gotcha. So April, right? Yeah, so April the 7th. I got to switch it around. I'm used to the UK dates with 25. So April 7th. Okay, so right at this low. That makes sense. So there all the way to okay, October to the 10th. All right, let's draw this out. 2025, yeah. So 30th to that high, yeah, I see it. All right, and then so we had a bunch of gaps. I mean, we got loads here, right? Let's clone all them. Like so. Don't know how far down we've got. I can't imagine we've got that far down. like so, and then one more at the bottom here. So we got a huge amount. And yeah, so we consolidated through the very first one. Those are usually the weakest. That's pretty much out of play, that one. So I would say no to that. That's gone. So pretty much out. You can get rid of it off your chart. This one's rejected quite a few times here. And it did reject again there, but we have broken through. We've come back on the other side, actually, during Trump's tweet. And we didn't really break it. So we kind of held. We're coming back down again. So gap-wise, I would say it's definitely short, right? And the next one is still far away at 6,400. So yeah, and then these ones. I mean, there's no point even looking at them yet until we ever get there. But essentially, range 6.5, yeah, 6.514. Range is 6. Oh, you're talking about the price range of the gaps, right? Gotcha. I think. What are you talking about? No. 6514 6604. 665. Sorry, I'm so it's 6514. 6514. So around here somewhere. That's fine. And 6604. 6604 here somewhere. No, 6604. What am I doing? 6604. There it is. No. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Daily time frame. So yeah, the gaps are pretty much. What do you mean by the range is 6.5? Oh, is this the range we're currently in? Is that what you're saying? I'm unsure what you mean by these the 6514 6604. What you're seeing on that. But yeah, in terms of the gaps, the low volume nodes, they're all here. So really, like in the long term, we've just rejected. So we've broken through this one, We've come back on the other side technically, and it looks like theoretically we should be going down. But the reason theoretically is because of what is happening now.